Hello and welcome once more to the Capalaba lanes for the 1988 Goldpin Coca-Cola Classic. I'm your host, Chris Bombolas. Your commentators for this match are Steve Mackey and Jeanette Baker-Flynn. And it's a men's round 11 match between Victorian Ian Bradford and Brisbane's Ken Sheehan.
Ian Bradford, Australia's greatest tournament bowler in the last 2 years in the men's circuit. Looking for a big opening.
Who would believe that? He hits the pocket, does everything that's desired of him, gives it enough room, and unfortunately, as we see here, the ball comes swinging back perhaps a little bit too late. The pins move out of the way and leave the worst split on the deck, the 7-10.
Yes, talk about a tough break. Anyway, it's more academic for Ian now. He's going for the one. Ken Sheehan would be really eager to capitalise on this.
Ken, of course, the Australian doubles in 1985, the Capalaba Cup in 1988, the Bowlers Open 85, Gladstone Open 83, and State Masters the same year, and the Easter Gift in 1988, and a big winner last time.
And look at the difference there. Ian Bradford probably bowled a better ball. He's got 9 pins in the first frame, and Ken Sheehan throws the ball light, as we'll see now. Have a look at the pin reaction on the right of your screen. And then Ken's face. To the left, the 7-8, and there they go.
Of course, the perfect start for Ken could mean a perfect 300, and that would mean a Samara Deluxe by Brock.
Nine and a half. That 8 pin's not going to fall.
The big thing to notice in this match will be that Ken just simply lopes along on the approach, just rolls the ball down, hitting the pocket on that particular shot, getting the break on the 10 pin, but leaving the soft 8.
Yes, we'll have a look at what the soft 8 is. There's the pin shaking around. Spare, clean so far for Ken Sheehan. 20 plays 9 by Ian Bradford.
Ian Bradford, 28 years of age, and his tournament wins include Brisbane Cups in 1987 and 88, Canberra Cup in 88, Melbourne Cup in 87, and the Cool Foam Challenge Classic in 1988, and the Bowler of the Year in 1987.
It's interesting to note on his dossier there that he's working on 1988. I think he's got it home and hosed, and he'd be liking to have a big performance here to set the seal on it.
Gets the desired result that time. Wasn't too sure whether it was going to come back, but it did. Ian gives the ball plenty of room, waiting for the lane to bring it back.
Look at this. Oh, he's been around a long time. He's paid his dues, has Ian Bradford, and he gets strikes like that all the time. Thank you, he says. Thank you, Lord.
He'll be looking to make an adjustment on this lane in lieu of the soft shot leaving the 7-10. Just perhaps a little bit more fingers on the ball. And there it is, solid strike that time.
Wow, what a hit by Ian Bradford. Only champions can come back after a disappointing start, Chris.
Magnificent performance, that, and he certainly did adjust properly that time, Jeanette.
Yeah, as we can see from that shot there, a little bit more lift off the fingers, gives it plenty of room. The ball picking up the revolutions and just smashing in the pocket.
Look what it's done to Ken Sheehan's confidence. He knows against Ian Bradford he needs to get away to a good start, and Ian Bradford gave him that early opening, but now Ken Sheehan's thrown the ball out the window. It doesn't come up at all. It grabs a bit of oil halfway down the lane there and just stays put, and misses the 1 pin. Well, he's going to have to slide this pin in the middle of those threesome there all the way down to the 10 pin. We've only seen it spared once so far in the series. Ken would be hoping to double that score.
Got 2 that time. He softened the shot a little bit, hoping the lane would take a little bit further over, but no, leaving him with the 7-2 count, and he's... There we see it. A little bit more to the left and he would have converted that spare.
So Ken Sheehan in front at the moment by 7 pins after the first 3 frames.
Well, I guess being Bowler of the Year in 1987 and also being hot favourite again this year, it puts me as the man to beat in this tournament. However, there are probably the best 16 bowlers in the country competing here at the Goldpin Coca-Cola Classic, and it would be a great title to win. Well, obviously, like a lot of bowlers, I would like to start out with a string of strikes. However, if things don't go my way in the first few frames, I really don't let that worry me too much. The idea is to try and put together a few strikes later in the game, and if you have to come from behind, that's the way you have to do it. Coming from Victoria, things have been very good for me in Queensland, having won the last 3 times I've been to Queensland, so I'm looking forward to this tournament and hoping that it'll be exactly the same.
Ken Sheehan from Brisbane had a fantastic win over Gary Key, 222 to 211 in round 10. Now in round 11 against Victorian 5th seed Ian Bradford.
Oh, good break by Ken Sheehan. We haven't seen too many of those splits broken up, and that full roller ball perhaps giving him a little bit more work here at Capalaba. Seemed to dump it out in the lane just a fraction.
I noticed too that Ken's shooting fairly deep to what we've seen the other bowlers play. He's there in between 10 and 15 ball, which is the second and the third arrow, and converting the spare comfortably that time.
I suppose of all the people in the Australian 10-pin Bowling Congress Hall of Fame, Ken Sheehan probably the best spare shooter the game's ever seen. Certainly up here in Queensland, he's had a lot of victories through getting spares.
That's right. And of course, as the theory goes, Steve, a full roller has to be very, very accurate, and therefore that helps to make him a good spare shooter.
Well, Ian Bradford now looking for 3 strikes to take the lead.
Solid shot, solid shot.
I tell you, that ball, Mandrake the Magician wouldn't have brought that one back. That was dead and buried. Let's have a look how, well, there's the strike, but we'll have a look how far it goes near the gutter. It's almost in the drain. Look at that. Oh, unbelievable, unbelievable.
That's what you call confidence and control. As we see Ian underneath the ball, reefing it out there.
But look at the confidence he's got. Look at the faith he's got in that ball. Unbelievable.
He's usually one who locks in and stays locked in.
It's a chance. Oh, there's that 10-pin again. We've seen it so often. Saw it a couple of times in the Gary Key Ken Sheehan match, and now Ian Bradford. Well, he's had 5 shots, 5 in the hole, and the bowlers in the last couple of matches making these conditions here look somewhat simpler than they were in the early rounds.
That's right. And as we see, the 6-pin not quite, just rung around that 10-pin and not converting it for a strike for him as he changes balls to go for the spare. Ooh. Obviously not giving it quite enough room, going to a harder case ball, knowing that the ball would go a little bit straighter than the one he's using on the first shot. As we see Ken Sheehan trying to capitalise. Yeah. There we see Ian's shot
I think
inside.
He slipped a little on the approach too. Just as he got there, his foot sort of didn't stop. Oh, Ken Sheehan.
Once again, a little bit wide after going through the beak. The most natural thing to do is to make sure you give the next shot a bit of room. But with the variation there is on these lanes, it can be absolute death.
Yes, he got there just a little bit before the ball, and he sort of dumped it. His feet were there before his arm was.
Again, not quite enough to the left-hand side to let the head pin take out that corner pin.
25 pins the difference now. Ian Bradford opened the frame. He's sitting on the bench, powerless to do anything, but Ken Sheehan let him off the hook by missing this spare. 71 for Ken Sheehan. Plays Ian Bradford 96, and there's Ken's disappointment as he goes over lane 3. Good shot.
He knew that one was going to be a strike. Just simply walking up, swinging the ball through the target. Little bit of fingers, letting the lane bring it back in, and there we get a little tap from the 6-pin.
Yes, the 6-pin. It's cruel that a light hit like this would have the 6-pin nudge the 10 out, and twice or 3 times already we've seen solid 10s. Back now with Ian Bradford, looking for a strike in the 6th to stay 25 pins ahead.
Got that one to come back, but not quite enough. It looked like it just went a little bit further down the lane before it started to come back. Left himself that nasty mess of the 2-10. Not impossible, but as we see the shot, it's out on the gutter a little bit too long. And therefore, not quite enough coming up into the pocket.
And the reason it left the 10-pin, it jumped late.
Ooh.
Let's close the gap somewhat.
And there we see it. 6 frames down. And he went for it. He tried to push that pin across. Couldn't do it. So 6 frames down. And Ian Bradford in front by 23 pins. The winner in both the men's and the ladies' competition will be competing in the 1989 High Roller Tournament in Las Vegas. They will be flying to and from the United States in luxury and style with Qantas, the spirit of Australia. Ian Bradford now, he's in front by 23, but he's coming off an open frame.
Yes, and he's had 3 strikes and 3 opens, a 7-10 split the first frame, a good turkey after that. Then he had a solid 10, missed it, and then that big split. Missed that also. He needs a strike.
Once again, a little bit wide. Ball's getting just a fraction too long and leaving an awkward split in the left-hand corner. It's the ball going down almost in the channel, grabbing the lane, just touching the head pin, but pin reaction leaving him that clump of pins.
A little bit off balance too. You could see earlier on in that replay his sliding foot just moving a little bit awry as he got to the foul line. Tough spare, this one.
Ooh, almost covered it. Gave it enough room on the lane. Took out the hardest too, looking for the break, but unfortunately it wasn't there.
And we'll have a look at this again. Gave it every chance. Boy, that ball hooks, and that's one of his hardest bowling balls as well. We're back on that side shot of, and that was a better finishing point. Oh, Ken Sheehan, unbelievable. Let off the hook. He was sitting in the bench. He did absolutely nothing. He caught up, what, 20 pins or so. Needed a strike to take the lead. 3rd time in a row in that lane, he's thrown it way wide. Getting to the line early.
Covers the spare without a problem. The ball connecting with all 3 pins. Perfect conversion of a spare.
It's amazing, isn't it? Here, looking at this scorecard, we've got Ian Bradford's open 4 frames. Ken Sheehan's open 2, and Ken Sheehan with a strike will still be 2 pins behind.
Very high hit that time, saying thank you very much. He got away with 9.
Quite a difference in the speed, Chris. You're a layman bowler. You had a couple of games after one of the matches. He's obviously slowed up, hasn't he?
Certainly has.
Trying to be a bit too cautious, maybe trying to place the ball rather than have trust in it.
I was just going to ask you that. Is it accuracy he's striving for now rather than pace?
Yes, he's trying to place the ball rather than just throw it out with the confidence he had against Gary Key.
Oh, unbelievable. Great strike that time by Ian Bradford. Went up there knowing what he had to do, executed the shot, lift, drive, and consequently, there it is, lifting the ball out on the lane. Plenty of fingers, driving it into the pocket and just burying it.
Almost a nonchalant look on Ian Bradford's face when the pins fell over. We'll see if we can see it there. A little nod of the head saying, yeah, that's all I've got to do. And that's precisely what he wants to do now in this foundation frame. The 9th frame coming up, he'll take a lead of about 30 pins with him into the 10th if he can strike that.
And there's the double.
Happiness is Ian Bradford getting a double when he needs it against Ken Sheehan. Sheehan's best possible score now is 179, and Ian Bradford shooting at perhaps a 203 pace.
As we see that shot out on the lane, once again, Revolution's ball penetrating the pocket perfectly. A bit more balance, a little bit, and Ian's reaction.
Oh, boy, oh, boy.
You begin to ask, what have I got to do when you make a shot like that?
Well, he's had 3 very, very wayward shots. He'll be most disappointed with them, but he got to the line much better then, got the ball out in the lane. Oh, that was a good shot. Just, well, we don't know what happened there. It was just a cold 9-pin, and it's one of the tricks of the trade. You just have to do the best you can and put up with what you get.
Good covered spare that time by Ken Sheehan. As we see the spare, giving it room, a little bit more roll, coming back onto the belly of the pin.
9 frames down here in the Coca-Cola Classic, and 24 pins the difference.
All you guys and girls in town have the fruitiest things that you can chew. Hula is a thing to do. Tangy, ooh, and juicy too. They're the fruitiest things that you can chew. Fruity Chews, feature ever Fruity Chews. Black on too. What's the name?
Do you remember Aussie Sundays and how the chook was worth the wait? Well, Red Rooster does, so they cook it right to make it Sunday every day. Australia, your chicken is ready. Australia, ready right now. Australia, your chicken is ready. Red.
We're back with Ken Sheehan now in the 10th frame, a 9 count for him, and I don't think it's going to be enough to win. He really needed to strike out there. Would have given him a 169. As it is, this ball crossing over to the Brooklyn will give him a maximum score now of 158, and Ian Bradford has the match in hand. But what a scrappy game this one's been for both players. One wonders what would have happened, Jeanette, had he got that spare in the 8th frame. That would have changed the complexion of the game, because he would have been, 9 pins closer to his opponent.
That's right. As you say, Steve, it's very much confidence when it comes to the latter part of the game. In a one-game match, if you can stay clean, that's it.
Well, Ken Sheehan bows out of the tournament, a 157, following his very, very good 222 win over Gary Key in the last men's match. He'll be going back thinking about this one. How did it get away from him? Just a little bit slower, I believe. He went outside that time just to try something different. It certainly wasn't the line for his ball today. He did the right thing, just lost a little bit of confidence against Australia's greatest bowler. I might add again in the men's division, Jeanette. I don't want you and Ruth Gerster on top of me.
No, I think we'll see Ian come home with a blaze of glory in this game. I just wonder, Steve, whether when a person gets to knowing that they've got the match sewn up, whether it's time to try something different. There's enough balls on the ball return there that maybe try a little bit inside, a little bit something different with the hand, once he's got the knowledge of the game being won.
Well, he's changed balls to the hard case black one. It'll slide further down the lane and go straighter, but it's all academic. It was all over before that throw, and at 166 to 157, a win by 9 pins to Ian Bradford.
So there it is. Ken Sheehan, as the loser, bows out of the competition, and he picks up $800, compliments of Coca-Cola. And Ian Bradford moves a step closer towards the final. He now plays defending champion Tom Curry next in round 12 of the Goldpin Coca-Cola Classic. Our next telecast match, though, is the